Hi, this is Miss Wright, and I am going to go over the characterization of Romeo in Act 1. Okay, so by the time we get to the end of Act 1, we have found out a series of facts about Romeo, and I just want to review to make sure we're all on the same page. So, what we know about him is he's the son of a nobleman, Lord Montague. His name is Romeo Montague. He's probably in his late teens, even though the play doesn't tell us how old he is, as it does Juliet. But we have some clues. He can stay out late. We know that. Um, he's accomplished with a sword, and his language is pretty sophisticated. So he's probably a little bit older than Juliet. He's not interested in the feud between the two families. Um, his mom says, "Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am. He was not in this fray." So when the fight starts at the beginning and everybody comes rushing into the street, Romeo is nowhere to be found because he's not interested in this conflict between the two families. He seems to be an only child because we never see any siblings in the play. We do know he has an extended family because he has a cousin whose name is Benvolio, and they also seem to be good friends. Montague says, "Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew, were you by when it began?" So that's how we know that Benvolio is Romeo's cousin. That's my text evidence. All right, Lord Montague thinks Romeo might harm himself because of his depression. And Lord Montague says, "Black and portentous must this humor prove." Montague wants Benvolio to find out what's wrong with Romeo. Earlier he described Romeo as possibly being depressed, and he never uses the word depressed, but we could figure it out from what was said. Montague says, "Many a morning has he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds, more clouds with his deep sighs." So it's early in the morning, and he seems to be teary-eyed and sighing. He roams Verona by night, then locks himself in his room by day, his father says, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. So to most laymen, we would say this person is feeling really depressed, that they're roaming around in the dark, and when the sun comes up, hiding in their room in the dark. Okay, so a couple other things that we find out about Romeo are Romeo thinks he's in love, and it's unrequited love. That means love that is not returned. He says, "Out of her favor where I am in love." So to be in someone's favor is to be in someone's affection or someone's good graces, and he is not in this person's good graces. She's not interested in him. The young lady's name we find out during Act 1 is Rosaline. She's a Capulet, so that should make us again realize Romeo is not invested in this feud between the two families because he's already in love with a girl who's a Capulet, one of the enemy household. Romeo implies that he has even offered her money for sexual favors. He's been trying to woo her. She's not interested. According to him, he says she will not stay the siege of loving terms, meaning she doesn't want to hear any love any words of love that he has to say, nor bid the encounter of assailing eyes. So she doesn't, when he's making those passionate glances at her, she's not interested, nor ope her lap to saint seducing gold. So he implies that she won't even take gold or money for sexual favors, which is crazy anyway. Um, this may be hyperbole or boy talk. He may be exaggerating there. We don't know. But what we do know is she has rejected him, and rightfully so. Okay? Benvolio and Romeo find out that Capulet is having a party and Rosaline will be there. And Benvolio wants Romeo to go to the party so that he can compare Rosaline to other girls and see that she's not that hot. But Romeo says, I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own. So Romeo decides, yes, I am going to the party, but not to compare her to other girls, but simply to bask in her beauty, simply to be near where she is. On the way to the party, Romeo has a feeling of foreboding and compares himself to a small boat on the high seas. Romeo acknowledges a higher power controlling his life. Romeo says, but he that hath the steerage of my course direct my sail. When Romeo sees Juliet, everything changes. Romeo says, did my heart love till now forswear its sight? For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. And we know that after that, Romeo and Juliet will have this beautiful lines where they kind of exchange their affection for each other and end up kissing at the party, and it's off to the races from there. Okay, I tried to keep this really short and sweet for you. Make sure that you have all this information in your notes and in your annotations. Work really hard. Make sure you annotate as many pages as you can of your script so that you get all your points. And I'll see you back in class. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.